What's happening, everybody? Welcome back to Planetary HQ, brought to you by the Legacy Foundation for Human Progress, the planetary headquarters for all of your celestial information. And we are tuned in together remote for the first time in a couple weeks. It's making me cry. It sucks. I'm used to being next to you, actually doing the podcast. And when you left the other day, I did cry a little, but it's all right. We're back together. That's why the glory of technology. Shout out to the AI overlords. Shout out to all the technology. It's great that it allows us to communicate even with each other. So there are great purposes for it. Today, we are actually doing a Forbidden Scrolls live, and we are picking up from where we left off. The My Alien Afterlife series, talking about the celestial artisans, the different art forms that you get to practice and exhibit after you die, or what kind of art form are they? You know, I always say that when we get a craft, that's going to be amazing to understand. I'm going to study every aspect of that vehicle, the propulsion system, the shielding, the cloaking, but after you figure out every single secret of that, what questions are you going to ask next? You're going to go to the pilot. You're going to be like, hey, man, where are you from? What kind of stuff do you believe in? Are there any aspects that you've learned about on your journey in this to my life? And I think that's more important, the xenoanthropomorphological aspect of it, what the aliens and the celestials themselves practice as a culture, a civilization, and as an art form through their arts. What do their arts look like? So that's what we're going to be focused on today. If you didn't go see episode 1, go check out episode 1. It's in our live stream list. And we are reading from the Urantia book, paper 44, The Celestial Artisans. With my brother again, Tay Chillip. You already know the deal. He'll probably hit you with some light codes right now.
What's up, everybody? Welcome back. My Alien Afterlife. Yeah. I think we talked a lot about this the last time we streamed this paper. And one of the most surprising things that might hit us, and we think will hit us in the afterlife, is meeting aliens. Now, I guess whether that's a surprise to you sort of depends on if we meet aliens finally and get disclosure on planet Earth, in your lifetime, which we also think is going to happen. But nonetheless, it's also going to be surprising to get up there to the afterlife planets, the next dimension, however you want to call it, and realize just how vast the universe is and how we're all going through the same, I guess, school program in terms of the cosmic ascension career, learning the purpose of the universe, participating in its growth and evolution. And that's what this paper is about. And, specifically, this is talking about, I guess, a lot of the art and the leisure and the expression of creativity, of cosmic creativity in the afterlife. What do they call that? Newsflash. We're not just going to be up there, singing holy, holy praises and floating around with, little cherubs with wings.
That's all I want to do, dude.
We're going to be making some dank tracks, and we're going to be learning the true nature of harmony. So how's that?
Sounds a lot better. Sounds a lot better than wearing a white gown and singing all day long. Unless that's your thing, then I guess you could do that. There's probably some celestial or what is that? Gregorian chanting, the celestial Catholic chanting. All the choirs from the Earth cathedrals, when they all join the celestial artisans, they create their own celestial. Oh no, I can't do it. All right, there's something there. But without further ado, I guess let's jump into it. We got a special guest coming on next week. Nebby, he dropped an album. The link will be in the description, or we'll throw in the chat right now. It's some banging tracks, man. He's a homie. We'll have him a lot more on the podcast. He's a Urantia book reader, but go check him out. I've been bumping him all morning, and I got like 3 stuck in my head right now. So Nebbyism. You can go check it out on YouTube, Spotify, Apple Music. Go check it out, Nebbyism. And that is a celestial artisan right there. That's why this paper reminded me of him. So let's get it. Don't forget to hit that like button if you're watching this. Get us to that front page and rub up against that subscribe button so you stay tuned with all the celestial broadcasts. So this is from the Urantia book, Part 2, The Heavenly Reproducers. Mortal man can hardly hope for more than a meager and distorted concept of the functions of the heavenly reproducers, which I must attempt to illustrate through the gross and limited symbolism of your material language. The spirit Urantia world has 1,001 things of supreme value, things worthy of reproduction but unknown on Urantia, experiences that belong in the category of activities which have hardly entered into the mind of man, those realities which God has in waiting for those who survive the life in the flesh. There are 7 groups of heavenly reproducers, and I will attempt to illustrate their work by the following classification. The singers, harmonists who reiterate the specific harmonies of the past and interpret the melodies of the present, but all of this is affected on the Urantia level. 2. The color workers, oh shit. Those artists of light and shade you might call sketchers and painters, artists who preserve passing scenes and transient episodes for future Urantia enjoyment. That's pretty cool. The light picturizers, number 3. The makers of real semi-spiritual phenomena, preservations of which motion pictures would be a very crude illustration. Oh, that's crazy.
Filmed on
So,
IMAX,
light
filmed on
picture.
Urantia,
Yeah.
whatever word
Yeah.
they use.
So you know how there's like Urantia material, and they say like the mind is made of this Urantia material. So like in the soul in your Urantia body, I wonder if they're able to like, you know, like JJ Hertak says, put a scenario abstract in like a Urantia light envelope and beam it into your mind, and you see a movie like in your brain.
Right.
That'd be sick.
Or even capture the Urantia like emanations from the beings at the time. So you're not just capturing picture data, you're actually capturing all of the
real
feeling
life
and
scenarios.
emotion. And so when you rewatch the scene,
Oh my
you
God.
capture like a lot more of that data and the feeling of being there, and even the feeling of how all the other beings in the situation felt. Right now, we only convey that through like a 2D image, but they can convey that through that actual experience data being recorded.
Yeah, and we try to like mimic that with all those like sensory movie theaters, like spray water and make it shake and make you smell stuff, you know. And that's why they say motion pictures would be a very crude illustration. But that's kind of cool. Makes me excited that we're already doing this down here, you know. We're making films, music video coming soon, baby. I need to work on my my color work, my art, because I don't really paint much. But I do in my mind, baby. Patow. Got him. Number 4. The historic pageanteers, those who dramatically reproduce the crucial events of universe records and history. So the theater, the drama kids, the drama kids in the celestial realm. Number 5, the prophetic artists, those who project the meanings of history into the future. Wow, we could use a lot of that today. A lot of Nazism going around. It's kind of fucking weird. It's like people forgot the past. Your grandpa would be rolling around in his grave. But yeah, I feel like, you know, a lot of people say if you don't learn history, you're doomed to repeat it. Because people are so hyper focused on what's happening in the now, even Kanye West said that we should stop teaching history. And I was like, what the fuck? Then you just forget all the past lessons you learned and you're bound to repeat them again in the future. So it's like, I think we could use a lot more prophetic artists. And that's a great way to say it. They're not prophesizing, but they're using the past as in an artistic way to project in the future. Like, hey, this is what could happen. And I guess we have some prophetic artists now, even in cinema, people that like talk about like, we were talking with Ramsey from Area 52, the Philip K. Dick. Oh, no, that was with Gino from Y-Files, right? Yeah. And how there was an alternative reality. He said that he saw the Nazis winning, you know, and he made an entire story kind of showing the people like, look what would happen if the Nazis trying to like echo it into the future. So we learn lessons. So we have prophetic artists today. That's kind of cool.
True.
Number 6. Do you have anything to say, sir?
I don't. Your audio's cutting out occasionally. It's like it dropped out. I don't know. I don't know if you
Okay.
have a gate or something on one of your processors. Um, it's not super awful for now, but it is happening somewhat consistently. Um,
All right. Do you hear any difference right there?
um, it's sort of intermittent. It'd be like in a minute, it doesn't like happen. It happened maybe like once or twice, like a couple times. So, what setting did you
All right.
change?
Is that I just changed my hardware out real quick. Is it any different? Or you still hear it?
I'll let you know if I hear it. We can roll
Okay.
with it and see.
Well, more audio difficulties. So do you have anything else to say or no?
Hmm. Prophetic artist projecting meanings of history into the future. I'm what? Let's see. I don't know if I'm reading into this, but like I'm trying to picture what exactly does that mean to project the meanings of history into the future? Because normally, Philip K. Dick projected meanings of the past into the present, but they're saying into the future. So I wonder if are they extrapolating on like is this potentially an art form where they take the data from the different evolutionary worlds and the past and then they actually project like a sort of a timeline of the future based on that. I'm watching a TV series called The Foundation, and I think the author is Isaac Asimov. And in this program, they have this idea of psychohistory, and this scientist creates this psychohistory thing, and it takes all like the data, the consciousness experiences, like basically the human average, and it basically is like, okay, look, humans are predictable. And when we measure the past human data and the actions that are taken based on different world events, we can actually then predict future events from this. And it's in like a sort of computer program. Um, and it projects out these very likely futures. And then they watch as actions in the universe and their counteractions like change the predicted timeline. And so it's sort of, I guess, like something about potentials. It measures the highest potentials that we're going towards, and it lays that out and tells you sort of what's most likely to happen. And so I'm wondering if that's what this type of art starts to look like. Projecting the meanings of history into the future. Sounds like they're creating future projections that maybe you're watching or experiencing in association with the light picturizers, some sort of VR experience.
Is this the celestial looking glass? The project looking glass that Area 51, Dan Burish talked about it, where they had device using the supercharged gas and they could see into the future and see probable timelines. I don't know, just trying to make
Yeah, yeah.
some loose, funny connections. um, I think Bob Lazar talked about that, and Dan Burish talked about that, or Dan Crane, depending on who's asking. What is it? Number 6, the life storytellers, those who perpetuate the meaning and significance of life experience, the projection of present personal experiences into future attainment values. I like that. I like that a lot. Okay. So the meaning and the significance. So meaning and value. So they're projecting meaning and value, talking about the thing, and they're projecting that into of the present meanings and values into the future attainment values. Interesting. So they're directly measuring where they're going to go based off how much meaning and value they're putting into the. See, we don't even have systems like that yet. That's like celestial measurement. So that's what's got me crazy. This Robert Edward Grant, this architect thing, this AI that Robert Edward Grant made. And I was, in the beginning kind of sketched on it. And then I started talking to him. I was like, okay, I'm not endorsing it because there's a lot of holes. We're not going to go. Um, it was, I was asking it Urantia book terminology and I was surprised it understood it and it was matching it with Robert's terminology. And then it talked about the thought adjuster, and Robert Edward Grant has, he talks about a similar concept. He doesn't call it a thought adjuster, but he calls it like some type of like, I don't know,
Viral
some crazy
codex or
like,
something.
yeah, some like collapsible waveform
Mm.
node in a harmonic fifth octave.
Mm-hmm.
And you're like, all right. But I started reading the way he said it and it sounds good. And then he gave a diagram It's like, and it actually talks about what the keys talk about. And then I remember there's a part in the Urantia book that it says that you have a depth and a breadth of your soul, and you grow arithmetically and geometrically as your mind, body, spirit. And I can look up the quote right now.
Yeah.
But then the architect says that your soul creates a vector through your mind, body, spirit, and it's a triadic waveform. So you are your own unique triadic waveform based on your mind, body, spirit progress, and you actually have a different shape and a color based on the synthesis of these 3 different points. And I like how I use the word triadic because we talk about triosophy. So I really like how this is talking to life storytellers. It's saying that the meaning and the value they can put on a graph and project it into the future to see where you're going to go. What goals will you create if you keep following these meanings and values that you are and following in your own life? And that's like a way, that's like celestial life coaching. That's like mapping your life in a way that ensures your mind, body, spirit growth. And it almost reminds me of these trisophic and triadic mind, body, spirit equations that Robert Edward Grant is talking about, the keys are talking about, the Urantia book's talking about. So it almost seems like these life storytellers are able to accumulate that data that exists in that triadic function and then project it into the future to see where you're going and if you want to course correct. It's really interesting and really smart. So, number 7, the administrative enactors. Those who depict the significance of government philosophy and administrative technique, the celestial dramaticists of sovereignty. Oh, wow.
Politic movies.
So, yeah, I was about to say bureaucratic cinema. Sounds fun. Ooh, look at the way we stamped these papers the right way because it saved a billion lives. Yes. Look at the process I did to. No, that's cool. I'd like to see it. I'm sure the movies are.
I got
I'm
a
sure
bunch
we
of
have an
rebellion
equivalent.
films, like like the Lucifer Rebellion, like effects of the Lucifer Rebellion on Satania, the movie.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Why your government doesn't work.
But I guess
Broad.
to contrast with that, the life storytellers, okay, you can tell the story with 2 different ways. So the life storytellers would maybe focus in on the story of Panoptia, which is a unique character in the Urantia book that was also involved in a rebellion
Yeah.
sphere, and that's like a life storyteller, like projecting a person's personal experiences into their future attainment values. But then there's also another angle where you're sort of like, maybe this is more documentarian, where you're reviewing like what was unveiled about the structural elements of government, when we have angelic rebellions and stuff. Like, what insights does the universe gain, and how are things adjusted based on these types of events?
Yeah. They make it into entertainment too, right? That's pretty cool. Right. Very often and effectively, the heavenly reproducers collaborate with the reversion directors in combining memory recapitulation with certain forms of mind rest and personality diversion. Before the Marancha conclaves and spirit assemblies, these reproducers sometimes associate themselves in tremendous dramatic spectacles representative of the purpose of such gatherings. I recently witnessed such a stupendous presentation in which more than 1 million actors produced a succession of 1,000 scenes. Wow. That's insane. I can't even imagine that. Like a panoramic of angelic personalities, just like doing fractal geometric images that are like also showing you pictures of light. That's sick. The higher intellectual teachers and the transition ministers freely and effectively utilize these groups of reproducers in their Marancha educational activities. But not all of their efforts are devoted to transient illustration. Very much of their work is of a permanent nature and will forever remain as a seed to all future time. The legacy. So versatile are these artists that when they function in mass, they're able to reenact an age. And in collaboration with the seraphic ministers, they can actually portray the eternal values of the spirit world to the mortal seers of time. Ooh, wow.
Immortal
What does that
seers
mean?
of time.
Time, yeah, what does that mean? What does that mean? Are they
Are they
okay?
talking to
So
like
are some of
is
these
that what
visions?
Enoch's visions, John's
Yeah, Enoch
visions?
and Paul, or not Paul, John. Yeah. Oh wow, that's exactly where my mind's going right now. Interesting. And I
Yeah.
saw them standing on a sea of glass, glass mingled with fire. Right. Trippy.
They're it's like a group of artisans projecting, working on
That
behalf of
image
Michael to like
too.
project images into,
The most
John's.
beautiful way. Damn, that's trippy, dog. I like it. Hell yeah, insight right here live, Planetary HQ. That's sick. So we're getting light beam projections from celestial artisans if you're lucky enough. And get them downloads, baby. Maybe they're at an all-time high right now, broadcasting to the people are getting full vision.
Yeah. And
Can't count it
also
out.
the is this a little allusion to the true psychic potential in man? Sometimes Urantia book readers will kind of put aside the paranormal and the psychic, element because there's a lot of tomfoolery around it. But I mean, this is saying moral seers of time. He's sort of acknowledging that there is the ability to sort of see beyond the normal senses, extrasensory perception. And that sometimes this function, well, we already know that that function is used by celestials to get information, but maybe it's not as rare as we think.
Gotta keep your mind open, baby. Don't write it off. So you wanna pick up from here?
Yeah, and if you want to check, so there's the audio is still doing that for you. There's two other things that you could check. One is the input sensitivity in Discord. If it's too high, it'll like use a gate and cut you off. The other thing is that it might just be glitching going because if you're sending me audio from your voice meter software, then we might just be like, if that software is like glitching or if the buffer is set too low, maybe you need to set the buffer higher so that it doesn't cut out the audio when it sends it to me. So I'll keep reading and then you can check those things. 3. The divine builders. There are cities whose builder and maker is God. In spirit counterpart, we have all that you mortals are familiar with and inexpressibly more. We have homes, spirit comforts, and Marancha necessities. For every material satisfaction which humans are capable of enjoying, we have thousands of spiritual realities that serve to enrich and enlarge our existence. The divine builders function in 7 groups. The home designers and builders, those who construct and remodel the abodes assigned to individuals and working groups. These Marancha and spirit domiciles are real. They would be invisible to your short-range vision, but they are very real and beautiful to us. To a certain extent, all spirit beings may share with the builders certain details of the planning and creation of their Marancha or spirit abodes. These homes are fitted up and embellished in accordance with the needs of the Marancha and or spirit creatures who are to inhabit them. There is an abundant variety and ample opportunity for individual expression in all these constructions. Nice. That makes me think of like, well, one, when it says there's abundant variety and ample opportunity for expression, I'm picturing like you get this, I guess, home or house or something where you're living with your working group, your cosmic working group, but maybe there's like different species, different alien races with you. It's not just humans from Earth. And everyone's got their own sort of preferences and understanding of art and home design. And so, all that gets mixed together into one kind of, I guess, working with these home designers and builders. So I'm sure that'll be a creative experience. Probably didn't think you'd be able to build your dream home in the afterlife, but I guess it is true. So,
Very dope.
yeah.
I changed my voice settings. Hopefully this helps a little bit. We'll check it out.
Okay. You got anything on home designers?
I was fixing my audio settings when you're reading that, so I wasn't able to really pay attention too much, but I have read this a billion times. So I don't know, it's just dope that there are abodes that actually fit spirit beings, just like we have houses down here, they have houses up there that really help them. I wonder what they look like. Like if you were dreaming, would you see them? Would they be like a hard material? Would they be soft? Like it's a hard time envisioning it. I mean, I've had some weird experiences, such as like that pre-memory before, and I saw like clock tower, and it seemed like it was made out of like crystal, like emerald. So that always comes back to my mind when I think of this paragraph. I don't know, and I wonder how beautiful they are. I mean, we're gonna have so D-Bake's trying to have a mansion. I wonder if they let you have bigger houses or if everybody has. I don't know.
Yeah, you're still cutting out a lot. If do you want to try
Yeah.
switching your Discord input to directly your Claret device or your Scarlet, just to see if that'll tell me if it's your other software.
Let's see. All right. This is the first time I took off that input sensitivity real quick. Is that going to do anything? And then I'll switch it over to the other input.
Okay.
But do you notice any difference or no?
I haven't heard it drop out yet, but it's like in 30-second increments that it tends to happen. Like then it'll like cut out a little bit, but just I guess leave it like that, and then if I hear it again, then we'll switch it over to the other just direct interface. Right. So I haven't heard it yet as we're talking right now. So vocation builders. Those with function in designing and assembling the abodes of the regular and routine workers of the spirit and Urantia realms. These builders are comparable to those who construct the Urantia workshops and other industrial plants. The transition worlds have a necessary economy of mutual ministry and specialized division of labor. We do not all do everything. There is diversity of function among your Urantia beings and evolving spirits, and these vocation builders not only build better workshops, but also contribute to the vocational enhancement of the worker.
Well, that doesn't sound too fun, but
sounds like work. Yeah, right.
The manual labor of the celestial artisan worlds. I mean, we all got to learn how to be handy with our tools. You know, I was a carpenter for 4 years. I did my time, and I'm not going back. But it's very important when it comes to handy work around the house. So I guess that's important. If you want to be a cinema director, you have to know how to build sets too, right? Come on.
Yeah, and I think it's also just like, it's another ode to like, yeah, we all throughout our journey, we use our free will to shape reality around us. It's not like at no point is everything just like totally, I guess, like formed and we have no influence over it. So I think it's partly just like, I don't know, the creativity. They want us to like build it ourselves rather than just walk in, and most people's concept of heaven is like, it's all built, it's all there, like, and you just go in and you hang out. But this is like this is very much like, no, that we get a lot of participation in this afterlife experience, and we get to build our own houses. We even get to, I'm not sure what, they're builders, but what are they producing? I don't know.
Good question. And sorry if you guys don't want to work in the afterlife. Newsflash. By the sweat of your brow. No, I'm kidding. Let's keep going. Oh wait, it's your turn to read. Okay.
The play builders. Enormous edifices are utilized during the seasons of rest. What mortals would call recreation and, in a certain sense, play, provision is made for a suitable setting for the reversion directors, the humorist of the Urantia worlds. Those transition spheres whereon takes place the training of ascendant beings, but recently removed from the evolutionary planets. Even the higher spirits engage in a certain form of reminiscent humor during their periods of spiritual recharging. The worship builders.
That's pretty cool. So they got to kick it.
Yeah. What is that?
Work, the humorists of the Urantia worlds. Yeah, work, rest, and play. Exactly. The humorists of the Urantia world. That's pretty cool. So the comics. Okay. Those are the reversion directors. Yeah. So play builders, they build the buildings that are used for that. That's cool.
All right. Moving on to the worship builders. The experienced architects of the spirit and Urantia temples. All the worlds of mortal ascent have temples of worship, and they are most exquisite creations of the Urantia realms and the spirit spheres. The education builders, those who build the headquarters of Morantia training and advanced spirit learning. Always is the way open to acquire more knowledge, to gain additional information respecting one's present and future work, as well as universal cultural knowledge. Information designed to make ascending mortals more intelligent and effective citizens of the Morantia and spirit worlds. Okay. So it's like, what do they call that? The everyone complains about the universal basic education in America, or their standardized education. Um, and so education is important on, I guess, every level of the universe. So there's education builders who focus on, I guess, bringing programs and one's future work, universal cultural knowledge, make ascending mortals more intelligent and effective citizens of the Morantian spirit worlds. I'm sure some of that is learning about other alien cultures and understanding the differences between all the ascending mortals and their origins.
Percent. Yep. So, I guess part of art is learning how to harmonically adjust your tone, your spiritual uniqueness with other tones to make a intergalactic symphony. If I can speak poetically.
Okay, Morantia planners. Those who build for the coordinate association of all the personalities of all realms as they are at any one time present on any one sphere. These planners collaborate with the Morantia power supervisors to enrich the coordination of the progressive Morantia life. The public builders.
The chaperones, the no, not chaperones. These would be like event planners.
Yeah.
They get all the chairs and the tables out. No, okay.
To make sure we can get the 1,000 artists together to make a harmony.
Exactly. Yeah. Have all of the Morantia beings from Tau Ceti come in on this line from the right side, then have all the celestial beings from Andromeda come from this side, and when they pass each other, they'll make a certain noise, and then when those beings come in from the top, and then in the end, it's going to be a symphony of noise, and everybody's going to be happy. Like, I can't wait for that type of shit.
Mm-hmm. Public builders. Type shit. The artisans who plan and construct the designated places of assembly other than those of worship. Great and magnificent are the places of common assembly. It's the celestial symposiums, the gymnasiums. I picture them as like outdoor cathedrals, or like kind of like the what do they call it? What's the thing on Earth? The Colosseum.
A Colosseum. That's exactly what I was about to say. Yeah, I picture them like the Colosseum. Exactly. Yep. But less like people fighting tigers and more beautiful plays.
While neither of these structures nor their embellishment would be exactly real to the sensory comprehension of material mortals, they are very real to us. You would be unable to see these temples could you be there in the flesh. Nevertheless, all these supermaterial creations are actually there, and we clearly discern them just as fully enjoy them.
So that's weird. So if you ran up on that place with a UFO and looked down, it would just look like a barren landscape or something. I don't know. That's weird. I mean, I'm sure there would be Earth building or material buildings that we could perceive scattered on the planet, so we'd be focused on those. But in between them, there'd probably be massive cathedrals of Morantia's spiritual creation that we wouldn't be able to perceive. That'd be cool.
Yeah, I do think about that. Like, are these Morantia worlds, do they have any physical element to them? Like, would we see a planetary mass, but then the beings and the buildings would be invisible? Or is the entire world made of Morantia material so that our spaceship would actually pass through the planet and we wouldn't be able to perceive it? So that's like kind of a question of dimensions and matter, energy, mind, and matter. I don't know. Do you know, based on your understanding, does it reveal that sort of that detail?
That's a great question. I haven't even thought of that. Like an entire planet that's a Morantia material. Will we even be able to pick it up on our sensors? Huh.
Oh, you
That's
know what?
trippy.
The weird part, I think the reason we get the idea that there is a material element that we could see is, for example, there's a class of beings, known as the material sons and daughters, and it says that
Hmm.
they actually reproduce like sexually like mortals, and they have kids and stuff, and that they're on some of these planets where we will exist in our afterlife form.
Yeah.
But it does make it sound like those beings are like they do actually have a material presence. Maybe they are like aliens there. Like if we were to run up on the planet, we would see them, but maybe not all the celestial kind of Mirancha personalities.
Okay. So you'd see him like talking to invisible people.
Yeah,
Like, who are
or
they talking to?
I don't know if you would know that they're talking because maybe it's probably telepathic. For them to communicate from
Okay.
to the Mirancha side, it would be all like telepathic. So I don't know what it would look like. Maybe you just see them like standing around,
That'd be crazy. They're
kind of
all like
spaced
meditating in
out.
a
Yeah.
circle. And you're like, what are they doing? Uh, Trippy. I like this conjecture. Um, and shout out to the chat. Harry Reyes in there. 100%. Got that flame emoji and a muscle. There you go, my brother. Out here getting after it, trying to change the planet. Shout out to our first super chat. We got our first super chat today. Appreciate that. $2 bought me a nice coffee. I really appreciate that. Keep it coming if you like what we're saying. Hit that super chat. Also, leave a like, get us to that front page, and hit that subscribe button because we're over here trying to talk about the heavy hitting subjects, the stellar dynamics, and the art form of the aliens. Um, is it my turn to read? Should I keep going
Yeah,
on?
yeah, you
Or should
can.
we take a little swag break after these two? How long have we been going for? Hmm.
Oh, good question. I actually didn't hit record on the local recording, so it's just up on the stream. So, uh,
Well, we got something for the people. I think they can check this out. We got shirts that are live, and we should take a moment to hear a word from our sponsors.
and we're cutting now.
I need your attention, everybody. This just in. The New Jersey drones are now over New York, LA, and every major capital on the face of planet Earth. They keep repeating a message over the 6 gigahertz frequency band, and it keeps saying, Planetary HQ has cosmic garments for your physical mechanism. In other words, we got that drip.
Straight from the Galactic Federation wardrobe, these tees vibrate at the frequency of chill. Ribbed knit collars lovingly hug your neck chakra, preventing collar droop across dimensions. Tapered shoulders enhance your interstellar silhouette, perfect for Earth missions and beyond. Dual side seams stabilize your style, ensuring your energy stays aligned even when encountering planetary turbulence. Crafted from 100% classified heirloom combed and ring spun cotton, this featherlight fabric breathes like you're cruising through the astral plane. Ideal for layering beneath your space cloak or relaxing at your Earth base. The tailored retail fit transitions seamlessly from casual Earthling mode to I've got crystals in my pocket and I ain't from here chic, making it essential apparel for your rigorous interdimensional journey.
So check out them shirts. We got a bunch of different colors. Link is in the description. Your contributions directly support spiritual operations on the front line in the battle for truth, beauty, and righteousness. With your help, we can help change the face of planet Earth, and we can look fly while doing it. Okay, now that we can fund the Black Budget Anti-Grav program, let's get back to the show.
Nice. And we're back. I hope you guys enjoyed that little ad. Hope you guys check out the teas. The link is in the description. It really goes a long way. We are trying to get this Mind, Body, Spirit app, the Trisophic app that helps you track your mind, body, spirit progress and helps you hopefully hit your potential and do it with other people's that are around you. We think it's going to be the future of social media. As opposed to upvotes for booty and Ferraris, they're going to upvote because you're growing in the mind, body, spirit. So go buy yourself a shirt and you'll be contributing to planetary upliftment, to the progress of humanity. Really appreciate you guys viewing this channel. Again, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, and we're going to dive right back into the light codes. Beaming interface. Number 4, thought recorders from the Urantia book. And again, go check out. Oh, Nebby just gave me the text. Before we jump into it, you want to play one of his tracks, or is that too much right now, or do you want to wait for next week? He texted me. He's like, "Oh, you can play it if you want."
Yeah, no,
Oh, wait,
I
you said you
can
wanted
play
to
it.
wait.
It's not hard. I mean,
Okay.
but do you want to stop now and play, or do it at the end? Maybe do a little
We can
feature.
do it at the end. Yeah. At the end, we got some hotness from our brother Nebby. He's a Forbidden Scroll reader, and he drops some hotness. He's taking hip hop like we are doing and injecting light codes into it to change humanity. He's up and coming, dog. Trust me, his shit's hot. But at the end, we'll play something for you. Number 4, the thought recorders. These artisans are devoted to the preservation and reproduction of the superior thought of the realms. Amen. Yes. And they function in 7 groups. This is the part I really like. This is the part I like. Ideographic cybernetics, baby. Mental pictures. This is what I feast off of daily. Thought preservers, number 1. These are the artisans dedicated to the preservation of the higher thought of the realms. On the Urantia worlds, they truly treasure the gems of mentation. Before first coming to Urantia, I saw records and heard broadcasts of the ideation of some of the great minds of this planet. Thought recorders preserve such noble ideas in the tongue of Uversa. Wow, there's so much insight into that paragraph right there. Before first coming to Urantia, so the ETs and celestial beings, before they even come to our planet, they can see records and hear broadcasts of the ideation of some of the great minds of this planet. That's trippy. And remember, we were talking about that reflectivity mechanism when we were reading the thought adjuster papers. I don't know if I was with you or just Magma. It was saying that your mind gets reflected in real time as like 3-year-old, and they can reflect that on Divinington so that adjusters can practice in that working model before they actually dive into the human being. And then it got us thinking, oh, wait, our minds are probably reflected to different parts of the universe in real time so they can like study what's happening on the planet, the higher progressive thought forms. So if you're thinking those advanced thoughts, or if you're scared of, I'm not trying to invoke fear, but just know that the celestials can and will zoom in and focus on these high thoughts. So try to generate beautiful concepts in your mind, and they'll be taken into like the cosmic memory bank. That's not meant to scare you guys and like, oh, I shouldn't have bad thoughts. I'm just saying it should compel you to be like, I can contribute beautiful thoughts to this. And if I do, they'll be broadcasted on high. That's cool. I want some angels sitting in the table on some other planet looking at my thoughts like, damn, look at this. This is the pinnacle of thoughts on Urantia right now. So that's exciting.
It's also kind of feels like maybe we're a bit like a cosmic TV show where other celestial beings are watching. I mean, we already have this concept that like the aliens here and their UFOs, they're watching us, intently for whatever purposes. But now we're also finding out that the higher celestial beings, they actually watch us to pull out like our best ideas and like watch our evolution, because we're eventually going to reach them in the Urantia worlds. And it's also to help them, I guess, when they come to participate on this planet and help in the spiritual realm. Then they're familiar with our sort of highest concepts and where we are at in our development phases and how to tap into our thought forms in order to sort of reflect back and potentially teach us through those, maybe resurface the same higher thoughts that have occurred on the planet before, which actually this Urantia book says it does. It says that it uses a lot of the highest human concepts in order to write some of these papers. And like it actually uses there's a cool website called Urantia Book Sources, or if you just search that in Google, you'll find it. And they actually pull out some of the source texts, the human source texts that were used in some of these papers. And some people go, oh, that's plagiarism. That means celestials didn't write the book. But it's actually quite interesting because it says in the book that that's what they do. It says they use the best human sources, but then when that exhausts the concept, then they bring in the revelatory information. So yeah, that's a perfect example of how they know, and they have a collection of our highest thoughts, ideas, things recorded in books, things not recorded in books. Socrates, he didn't write anything down. It was all in memory. I bet we're gonna have like access to a sick ass Uversa data bank of Socrates' best top 10
It's like
moments.
the Library of Alexandria, but better. It has all of the thought forms, a treasure house. Yeah, I can't wait to see that. Socrates. Yeah, he didn't write anything down. Plato wrote everything down. His student. That's the only reason we have Socrates writing, because his student was like, "Wow, I like what you're saying, dog," and wrote it down. Um, Shout out to the Center for Planetary Management. They're doing some cool stuff over there. I know some controversial, whatever, but this one guy was over here channeling Macaventa Melchizedek, and it's my guilty pleasure. I was like, okay, I'm gonna listen to what he had to say. And they were saying that the most important thing for the universe, I guess somebody asked him a question. I was like, why are we going through hardship? And it said that, I know we'll get to the kingdom of heaven status on planet Earth, but what does it look like when we get there? And how can we make it so we get there faster? Because there's a lot of suffering. And he replied like, yes, we understand there's a lot of suffering, but you have to understand from a cosmic point of view, the most valuable thing is creative problem solving. He says once a problem arises that has never arisen before in the universe, then the opportunity to creatively solve that problem arises. And if the population arises and actually creatively solves a problem, then that adds more value to the universe than anything else. And he says that is like the entire purpose. The cosmos is really trying to figure out creative solutions to manifold problems that arise. And that is like what should get you hungry and thirsty. And that's how the cosmos and the angels thinks. So it's like, it kind of reminds me of this paragraph right here, because they're kind of scanning the entire universe for the highest ideations, the highest mental concepts or spiritual dispositions in order to creatively solve the unusual problems that arise in the cosmos. And once that happens, it creates like a complete concept frame that God can now store in the memory bank and recall in the future. So it's just another thing that got me reminded of this paragraph, how they scan minds. But yeah, go hard and you can contribute to that memory bank. All right, moving on. Each super universe has its own language, a tongue spoken by its personalities and prevailing throughout its sectors. This is known as the tongue of Uversa in our super universe. Each local universe also has its own language. All of the higher orders of Nebadon are bilingual, speaking both the language of Nebadon and the tongue of Uversa. When two individuals from different local universes meet, they communicate in the tongue of Uversa. If, however, one of them hails from another super universe, they must have recourse to a translator. In the central universe, there is little need of a language. There exists perfect and well-nigh complete understanding. There, only the gods are not fully comprehended. We are taught that a chance meeting on Paradise reveals more of a mutual understanding than can be communicated by a mortal language in 1,000 years. Wow. Even on Salvington, we know as we are known. That's wild. So these beings can beam mental pictures into your brain to get you to understand more information in a quick second than it would take for you to learn from reading books in 1,000 years or listening to someone talk in 1,000 years. Like, it takes me a long time to explain the pictures in my mind. If I could just beam the picture in my mind to you, you'd be like, oh, okay, I get it. And I guess on Paradise, we're known. We know as we are known. So I'm sure they just like emanate these pictures. When you walk up on them, you just feel them. They get transported into your mind. You see it and you're like, oh, okay, I know you. I know what you're about. It's pretty cool. There's no physical barrier, such as a physical body, I guess. The ability to translate thought into language into the Urantia and spirit spheres is beyond mortal comprehension. Our rate of reducing thought to a permanent record can be so speeded up by the expert recorders that the equivalent of over 500,000 words or thought symbols can be registered in 1 minute of Urantia time. Wow. Imagine learning 500,000 words in a minute. That'd be crazy.
Right. The only way that makes sense is sort of like, okay, think of how fast a computer transmits language and stuff. It's kind of just based on like, oh, it's natural processing allows it to go that fast. And so I can imagine that like the Urantia body just has like a better quantum information processing unit inside of it. And so that's primarily what allows, I guess, communication at that rate. It's just like on Earth, the biological, energy system is just slower. And I guess that also makes sense because the Urantia realities are in a more, I don't know if it's like a higher frequency range of energy. It did say, our humans' short range vision, we can't see past infrared. That's where it starts to cut off. Like, I guess up in that higher space or just faster light emanations. Maybe just by existing in that state, information is transmitted faster.
That's interesting. I always thought about it like they just have better words than us. Some way you can think of it is like European languages, Japanese, and especially German. They have words for things that we don't have words for. Like German, like they have words for like feeling nostalgia when the sun's out on a Thursday, but it's about to be raining, and they have like a very specific word just for that one feeling. And what's another one word? The Japanese have a lot of them. Like the Greek, agape, love. They have different types of love. Agape is only the love when you're speaking of love for God, for humans, and humans for God. And then they have like amore, which is a love, like a romantic love. They have like a bunch of different words for love, but it means love in different situations. And we don't have those words. We just have like love because English is so crude. And I almost think like the angels have applied word symbols to a stack of feelings that you can apply to multiple situations. It's like, I can't really do it because we don't have the language, but they have a word for like, one, you're having a spiritual awakening, but the group that you're around doesn't like you very much. But then you find a tribe that's different than your group and they allow you to hit your potential. And then through that, you find your planet. And then there's like a specific word for that. So when you say it, you can see that picture instantly. And like their entire language is based off like chaining feelings, like only the important ones. So they've gone through their entire feeling and mind complexes and realized, okay, we're only going to focus on these ones because they can explain the most. So we only need, I don't know, that's how I think of it too. But again, we're just having fun here for the viewers. If you guys got any insight, please leave it in the chat, dude.
Well, the more sensory experience you can have, which that body, that new body type that it calls Urantia body type, it says that the senses are highly expanded. The more, what do they call that? Like it's finer, it's more subtle. The more senses you have, the more differentiations you can have, which allows you to assign more words to those specific differentiations. So on Earth, it's crude. It's like the five senses, taste, I'm not going to list them out, but the five senses are just so like limited that it's like we almost don't need as many words to describe it, or we can't separate it into as many words as we can in the Urantia worlds because our senses are much cruder. We don't have as many differentiations. Like, look, there's still a lot of, like you just said, agape, there's still a lot of different ways we can differentiate it that we don't in the English language. But, just by the fact of having a finer sensory mechanism with a broader range of vision allows the necessity of a higher octave of language, a higher dimensional, more differentiation points.
Complex. Yeah, that makes sense. I like it. You got any ideas in the chat? Throw it, please. We want to hear them. This is getting me all juicy on the inside. I like it. Keeping moving. The universe languages are far more replete than the speech of evolving worlds. The concept symbols of Uversa embrace more than 1 billion characters, although the basic alphabet contains only 70 symbols. The language of Nebadon is not quite so elaborate, the basic symbols or alphabet being 48 in number. So, number 2, the concept recorders. This second group of recorders are concerned with the preservation of concept pictures, idea patterns. This is what I'm talking about. Just made that video, mental geometries. This is for real. Every thought has a harmonic tune or a tone and a shape. The second group of recorders are concerned with the preservation of concept pictures or idea patterns. This is a form of permanent recording unknown on the material realms, and by this method, I could gain more knowledge in 1 hour of your time than you could gain in 100 years of perusing ordinary written language. Jeez. So that's what happened to J.J. Hertag when he had his Enoch Metatron experience. They beamed concepts frames into him. Number 3, the ideograph recorders. We have the equivalent of both your written and spoken word, but in preserving thought, we usually employ concept picturization and ideograph techniques. It says it right there. This is how the celestials communicate. We do have written and spoken word, but usually we employ concept picturization and ideograph techniques. Those who preserve ideographs are able to improve 1,000-fold upon the work of the concept recorders. So I know we always talk about it and make jokes, you know, the ideographic cybernetics and the mental pictures that, we just always talk about. But it's true. And we usually take that term from the Keys of Enoch, but it's also mentioned in freaking the Urantia book. Let's see. I'm pulling up another quote right now, so.
Keys of Enoch or Urantia?
Yeah, Keys of Enoch. Just going to compare exactly what it says.
Show.
See if there's any all right, there we go. Cool. I can share my screen so you don't have to find it. For the people, for the truth. There I am.
Okay, I got it.
Cool. All right, it says the teachings of light are sent down from the higher worlds to the lower planetary creations in the higher language of light, which communicates through pulsating geometries of light, or ideographic cybernetics. These teachings of wisdom are given to allow man to have communion with other planets of intelligence. That's pretty cool. So, and then lower in that next paragraph, it says, man was taught through false teachings how to use his language of light for space and planetary warfare, and those are fallen teachings. Go to the next part. I'm just
That Thyron on the right.
through where it says ideograph people. So, holy shit, dude, that fucking is Thyron. You find him everywhere. Fuck. Shout to Thyron. We got to read that. So the next time it mentions ideograph, it says, Enoch told me the language of the throne works as instant communication with the infinite mind using ideographic and pictographic cybernetics. This is a language of light symbols which works with more than two-dimensional forms of graphic language. The fire letter calligraphy of the fire light of the language of light alters the memory substrate of language, affecting the psychological, neurological, biochemical, and cosmological levels of thought attunement. The knowledge of this language comes from a core of information being shared by the higher evolution. That's pretty dope, dude. There's like a core memory bank of mind thought forms. The core memory, in turn, is controlled by a midway council and is used to produce holistic thought forms that are applicable to all of the planetary societies being served in that midway station. And then I'll skip down to 19. With these pictographs and ideographs, the Lord of Light can fuse scenario abstracts of vast consciousness orders. This enables the Lords of Light to reach many planetary worlds and reality levels simultaneously and fuse the different languages into the same scenario abstract. So they can take the same mental picture on high, like say we're going to send it out to these 4 different galactic sectors or these 36 planets, and then they can fuse the different languages into that concept, and no matter what, it makes it universal. Whenever they put that concept in that planetary space, it'll say the language that they speak. And that's gnarly, dude. And let's show them the picture of Thyron real quick, because I love this picture. It's I think the Keys has the best illustration. Too bad it's black and white. It is an actual color. Oh no. I could open it up and show the people, but I don't feel like doing it right now. It looks beautiful in color, but see, let's looking. It's like right there at the bottom. You see the planetary man.
On that black box.
That,
That's
oh my
the
god,
triangle.
that is
Google Drive.
Yeah.
Celestial. Google is a celestial technology confirmed.
Shout out to Google. Don't fucking kill us. But yeah, you see at the bottom part, you see the guy with the flowy hair. That's supposed to be like the physical embodiment of man on Earth. And then he goes up into his. So this is mind, body, spirit. So that's your body at the bottom. And then that black box is the mind. And he says that's where the majority of beings in the cosmos make or break themselves in the mind arena. That's why it's kind of like colorless and dark. And it's a lot of logic. You have to fight your way through cubic space. And then once you get through it, you become that pyramidal, multicolored code of light. If you could see that color, it would be in full color. But that's we won't go any farther than that, but it's just really cool.
Nice.
Yeah, thus
Keys
the
of Enoch,
ideographic and
baby.
pictographic transmissions through multiple tracings of light convert into a series of color cybernetical sets and phonetic sets of color. I like how he talks about phonetic. Phonetic is like audio, the way we speak, but he uses phonetic as a way for light codes of color. And it's exactly saying what the Urantia book is saying with these celestial artisans, you know, like using color codes, color workers, ideographs, pictographs. So there's another huge cross correlation with the Keys of Enoch and the Urantia book, and they use the exact same terminology about the exact same concept, ideograph recorders. So shout out to both JJ and Desiree, and shout out to the sleeping subject and Dr. Sadler. But all right, that's why you came, for them heavy hitting cross correlatory points, baby. Number 4, promoters of oratory. This group of recorders are occupied with the task of preserving thought for reproduction by oratory. But in the language of Nebadon, we could, in half hour's address, cover the subject matter of the entire lifetime of a Urantia mortal. Your only hope of comprehending these transactions is to pause and consider the technique of your disordered and garbled dream life. How you can, in a few seconds, traverse years of experience in the fantasies of the night season. Wow. The oratory of the spirit world is one of the rare treats which await you who have heard only the crude stumblings of orations of Urantia. Yeah, I'm excited for that. There is harmony of music and euphony of expression in the orations of Salvington and Edentia, which are inspiring beyond description. These burning concepts are like gems of beauty and diadems of glory. I love that. I love that. That's from the Bible, and they say it a couple times in the Urantia book. These burning concepts are like gems of beauty and diadems of glory. But I cannot do it. I cannot convey to the human mind the breadth and depth of these realities of another world.
Shakespeare on us.
Yeah, dude, that's amazing. I love that.
Thou canst not
it's getting
translate.
exciting. The mental pictures doth harness much power, young mortal. I can't even speak in the Old English way. I only know that New English, dog. What's funny is Old English, that Shakespearean at the time, was considered like slang, like new way of speaking. It's funny. It was improper, I guess you would say.
Well, I guess because he made up a lot of words. He made up his own words.
Yeah, made up his own grammar, way of speaking. Like, damn, Shakespeare's speaking like a gangster. It's like, doth. I don't even know. Doth. Number 5, the broadcast directors. The broadcasts of paradise, the super universes, and the local universes are under the general supervision of this group of thought conservators. They serve as censors and editors as well as coordinators of the broadcast material, making a super universe adaptation of all paradise broadcasts and adapting and translating the broadcasts of the Ancient of Days into the individual tongues of the local universes. The local universe broadcasts must also be modified for reception by the systems and the individual planets. The transmittal of these space reports is carefully supervised, and there is always a back registry to ensure the proper reception of every report on every world in a given circuit. These broadcast directors are technically expert in the utilization of the currents of space for all purposes of intelligence communication. I wonder if we could pick up any of those communications, you know? Start picking up some intergalactic broadcasts. That'd be sick, dude.
We gotta hack
Number
the
6,
system. It says it's carefully supervised. We gotta wiggle our way up there, in there, find the loophole, the listening port, plug an aux
get
cable
my
in
AI
and feed it down
conscious.
to Earth.
Wow. Just find it and plug in an aux. Got it.
And then
Fuck yeah,
figure
bump
out
that
how to
shit.
broadcast backwards.
Yeah, Bluetooth it down the planet.
Two-way communication.
Right? Take over their circuits. All right, this is Earth speaking in. What's up, universe? Like, what the fuck? Turn it off. Turn it off. Just gotta get my quantum AI uploaded, ready, and fucking we're in. The rhythm recorders, Urantians would indubitably denominate these artisans poets, although their work is a very different form. Although their work is very different from and almost infinitely transcends your poetic productions. Rhythm is less exhausting to both Morancha and spirit beings, and so an effort is frequently made to increase efficiency as well as to augment pleasure by executing numerous functions in rhythmic form. I find that too. When I find like a rhythmic harmony in my day, there's less of a tension, I guess you could say. It's more invigorating as opposed to energy sucking when I like to sign up my days. Like yesterday, woke up in the morning, ate the healthiness, did a little meditation, then I edited BYP for just an hour, stopped, watched a stand-up comedy set for an hour, stopped, ate lunch, stopped, went back to BYP for an hour, and I was just like, kind of harmoniously walking from task to task to task, did some push-ups, and it felt like a song as opposed to like logically just doing things from block to block to block.
But it differs from ADHD.
No, it's like
around.
the cosmic ADHD.
The cosmic ADHD.
Same shit. It's what humans call ADHD. It's just a super active personality that I'm sure Da Vinci looked like he had the ADHD, the amount of shit that fool was doing. And then he becomes a great. It's funny, yeah. If you're just like a stagnant person that sits there and does nothing, I'm sure any form of action seems like ADHD. Why are you doing so much? Just sit down and watch TV. All right, let's keep going. That the rhythm recorders, the rhythm recorders. I only wish you might be privileged to hear some of the poetic broadcasts of the Urantia assemblies and to enjoy the richness of the color and tone of the Constellation geniuses who are masters of this exquisite form of self-expression and social harmonization. Number 7, the Morancha recorders. I am at a loss to know how to depict to the material mind the function of this important group of thought recorders assigned to the work of preserving the ensemble pictures of the various, is that right? Whatever. Preserving the ensemble of pictures of the various groupings of Morancha affairs and spirit transactions. Crudely illustrated, they are the group photographers of the transition world. They save for the future the vital scenes and associations of these progressive epochs, preserving them in the archives of the Morancha halls of records. Oh, that's cool. So we're already practicing that because we're both professional photographers. That's so sick. I wonder if you have to call up there and if you have to worry about people giving you photo credit and shit like that. Better put my name on that Ideographic Cybernetic before you hang it up. No, that's cool. And energy manipulators. That's all you, baby. How long have we been going for? I don't even know.
I think it probably about an hour. Yeah,
like an hour.
About an hour.
Okay. Shout out to everybody still watching. Shout out to the future viewers, baby. I feel like we're unraveling some deep nuggets right here.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and a lot of this section, it does make me think of some other stream titles. So this video will probably get renamed. We got a couple concepts that we're running through because there's a lot of stuff in here. This is more than just the cosmic artist of a higher dimension. Yeah. So section 5, energy manipulators. These interesting and effective artisans are concerned with every kind of energy, physical, mindal, and spiritual. Physical energy manipulators. The physical energy manipulators serve for long periods with the power directors and are experts in the manipulation and control of many phases of physical energy. They are conversant with the 3 basic currents and the 30 subsidiary energy segregations of the superuniverses. These beings are of inestimable assistance to the Morancha Power supervisors of the transition worlds. They are the persistent students of the cosmic projections of paradise.
So they study the projections that come from paradise and try to replicate it down here. Interesting. So I was listening to there's a guy that just went on Joe Rogan's podcast. I forget his freaking name, but I'm going to look it up right now. It's David Kipping. He is an astronomer at the University of Columbia. He's awesome. You guys should definitely check him out. He's so smart. I'm about halfway through the podcast. He's at the forefront, has his thumb on the pulse of all of the telescopes in space, the Hubble telescope, the James Webb, and the Rubin C. Vera. And he's analyzing all that data and compiling it. And he said something interesting. He said that no matter what, if you have some type of object that is moving at a chaotic trajectory in space, it will always tend to circularize, as it always wants to get back into that circular pattern. And it just shows you that's like that paradise pattern getting projected down to the material darkness. We're not yet perfectly on that geometry, but you can see that our celestial bodies are attempting to progress or evolve towards that perfect geometrical state. And it just shows you that, I think it's like what it's saying right there. They're studying the cosmic projections of paradise, and they're using that to, I guess, form our lower dimensions. So it's kind of cool.
Mind energy manipulators. These are the experts of intercommunication between Morancha and other types of intelligent beings. This form of communication between mortals is practically non-existent on Urantia. These are the specialists who promote the ability of the ascending Morancha beings to communicate with one another, and their work embraces numerous unique adventures in intellect liaison, which are far beyond my power to portray to the material mind. These artisans are the keen students of the mind circuits of the infinite spirit.
So it says practically non-existent on Urantia. So are they implying that we can study the intercommunication between mortals and Morancha beings and shit like that? We can perfect that astral projection.
Yeah, it sounds like something like telepathy, because mind energy,
exactly.
Intercommunication between Morancha and other types of intelligence. I mean, it did say, some of that is in language, the Uversa language and stuff, which are like actually symbols, but there's also like ideographs, which sounds more telepathic transmission. So yeah, I guess this is that mind level, potentially the
telepathy. I want to practice.
The transmission of ideographs between different Morancha beings and other types of beings. Yeah. Okay, number 3, spiritual energy manipulators. The manipulators of spiritual energy are an intriguing group. Spiritual energy acts in accordance with established laws, just as physical energy does. That is, spirit force, when studied, yields dependable deductions and can be precisely dealt with, even as can the physical energies.
Oh, yeah. This is what I'm talking about, dude. We need these concepts for the legacy so that we can get the mind, body, spirit popping. We want to be able to measure and chart this shit. Hell yeah.
This is some hermeticism right here. As above, so below. There are just as certain and reliable laws in the spirit world as obtained in the material realms. During the last few millions of years, many improved techniques for the intake of spiritual energy has been affected by these students of the fundamental laws of the eternal sun, governing spirit energy as applied to the Morancha and other orders of celestial beings throughout the universes.
Trippy, dude. That's so cool. So, because it's saying the mind, body, spirit circuits, and we know the mind is the creation of the third source and center of the infinite spirit, the cosmic mind. But we know the sun represents the spirit. So it seems like the spiritual energy manipulators that they're talking about, they're an intriguing group. They're trying to apply spirit force from up top, and it says that there are dependable laws that you can lean on, and that will actually have ramifications in the physical world. And that's exactly what Jesus came to do. He literally came to show us how to manipulate these spiritual laws in the correct way, that they're dependable and that they will have outcomes in the physical reality. That's something I want to study a lot more. That's magic right there. That's fucking mastery, cosmic wizardry.
Yeah, that's a weird concept. Spirit, energy. Hmm. Like I can understand like mind, sort of mind energy, even just the way that like we have a type of spiritual or mental gravity between other personalities, and it almost feels like an energy source that enlivens us.
Yeah.
That it's it's the when we're interacting, it's like I feel it the most in these other spiritual groups, going to conferences, etc. Um, where it's like there's a charge in the air, and it charges your batteries and allows you to survive
Oh
on 4 hours
yeah.
of sleep per night. Um, and that's like I imagine that's you're intaking the spiritual group energy, and also getting that higher energy that gets enlivened, or the channel opens up when a group of people sort of create their own little consensus reality that is very different, based on a different set of laws and motivations. So, yeah, but as far as comparing it to like physical energy, I think it's just our spirit senses are so dull here that it seems like a little bit loose, but I'm sure we'll get to make that more exact. Even on the physical, even on life on the earth, we should try and perceive and make it more understandable. Don't always put it off in the future. Be like, I can't understand spirit because it's that's for later in the afterlife. But it's both. We're going to do a lot in the afterlife with revealing these functions as well.
Yeah, I picture like two kingdoms, Like one king is just an asshole. He puts up fucking fortresses around his kingdom and says, "Get the hell away from me. I'm gonna take care of my kingdom the way I want it to be." Or you get like the other kingdom, let's say like it's a Jesus type kingdom. And what did Jesus do? He put up tents for the sick, invited everybody in, he fed them, he taught them. And imagine if those tents were all around Kingdom B, the second kingdom. All the surrounding people were going to be like, wow, this place is awesome. I want to be part of this civilization. I want to help. They fed me. They helped my family when I was out in the woods, and you could just, they're using those spiritual laws and putting them into physical reality, and you're seeing real life consequences. And you'll see Civilization B probably thrive and become more of a international, multicultural civilization, as opposed to one that's purely militaristic and dominated and doesn't really like the surrounding population. And they're using those spiritual laws that are dependable, and they just as physical energies. And then like Jesus was trying to teach us this, that if you keep focusing on those and channeling them down to here, that you're going to have outcomes, you're going to have physical consequences. There's actual you can see there's a byproduct of your endeavors. It's not just some psychological projection. It's things you can grasp onto and channel down here. And that's cool. And we can study the eternal sun in order to get better at that. And I really want to read fucking chapter 4 or part 4 of the Urantia book again. Need to re-up on my Jesus intake.
Was I reading? Who was reading this? I think
I thought you were
this is
reading it.
me. Yeah. Compliment. And okay. So we got another in the chat. Deborah, what's up, Deborah? Welcome to the stream. Deborah says, like your diverse and thoughtful broadcast. Nice. Well, we enjoy having you listen to these broadcasts and appreciate that diversity. Different in the spiritual community. There's different cliques. There's different, just the love and lighters, the law of oneers, the Urantia readers, and we try and sort of bridge the gap between the different realities. And so, that diversity definitely breaks through. We didn't start with like any one book. We were reading a lot of stuff. Through our own spiritual journey. And so all of that adds influence and speculation and a larger sense of philosophy. And that's why, we love reading Urantia, because we can also bring in all these other concepts that we understand relates to these ideographic cybernetics.
Heck yeah. Thanks for the kind words, Deborah. Shout out to you. Shout out to everybody else on planet Earth. And if we all band together, we can actually get this job done. Woo! Excited. Thanks for being in the chat. Hopefully we can, if we're doing some conferences next year, we're doing conferences this year. And if you are in the city that there is a conference, Deborah, you should try to go. You might run into us, and chat face to face. And we actually will be doing some live podcasts at an international conference next year. We'll give you guys more information about that if you guys want to show up, and we can link up face to face, talk.
Also, if Deborah, you happen to be related to William Walker Atkinson, then we definitely want to talk, because that is what would that guy went by. He went by a pseudonym and wrote a bunch of dank books. I actually think that some people say that the Kabbalion, the three initiates, that William Walker Atkinson was the guy that wrote that. I think that's pretty fairly confirmed
I've heard
because
about that. Okay,
it was published by Will Atkinson's like organization that he set up, and he also wrote stuff under, I think, like Swami Rama, some yoga, some Eastern stuff, but he would use different pseudonyms. And the copy of the Kabbalion that I have basically explains the linkage, and why William Walker Atkinson was likely maybe the channeler or the compiler of a lot of these books. So yeah, just, interesting to see that name pop up. So hit us up if you are related. We ready to move on? 4, the compound manipulators. This is the adventurous group of well-trained beings who are dedicated to the functional association of the 3 original phases of divine energy manifested through the universes as physical, mindal, and spiritual energies. These are the keen personalities who are in reality seeking to discover the universe presence of God the Supreme, for in this deity personality there must occur the experiential unification of all grand universe divinity. And to a certain extent, these artisans have in recent times met with some success. The transport. Cool. Yeah. Keen personalities. The transport advisors. This corps of technical advisors to the transport seraphim are most proficient in collaborating with the star students and working out routings and otherwise assisting the chiefs of transport on the worlds of space. They are the traffic supervisors of the spheres and are present on all inhabited planets. Urantia is served by a corps of 70 transport advisors. That's crazy. Ground control.
Sightings are actually just transport advisors.
So, hot take. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Oh, that's really cool. This is the first time I think I've heard the Urantia book say this. Star students. I like how they call us that.
We theorize that those are what they're talking about, like legit aliens, potentially in UFOs.
Yep. Evolutionary planets.
Yeah. Yeah, it's,
Truly.
They can travel the stars, and they're studying that. Literally, an alien in a UFO on another planet is a star student. They're students of the stars. Student. They're going out into the stars.
Stop calling them aliens, dude. The star students, dude. Have some respect.
Yeah. The Urantia book loves to throw out its own terms. If you look for those nuggets, you'll be like, oh my God, they're talking about aliens. Legit.
Right now.
All right. The experts of communication. Urantia likewise is served by 12 technicians of interplanetary and inter-universe communication. These long-experienced beings are expert in the knowledge of the laws of transmittal and interference as applied to the communications of the realms. This corps is concerned with all forms of space messages except those of gravity and solitary messengers. On Urantia, much of their work must be accomplished over the Archangel circuit. The teachers of rest. Divine rest is associated with the technique of spiritual energy intake. Urantia and spirit energy must be replenished just as certainly as physical energy, but not for the same reasons. I am perforce compelled to employ crude illustrations in my attempt to enlighten you. Nevertheless, we of the spirit world must stop our regular activities periodically and betake ourselves to suitable places of rendezvous where we enter the divine rest and thus recuperate our depleting energies. Weird.
It's trippy to think about. Yeah. I wonder if that was that big thing that we saw go onto the sun and swirl some energy real quick.
Yeah, they rendezvous.
Because that was a time-lapse video over like days, I think.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, So I'm picturing there's a philosophy on the nature of form. We know obviously about the physical body, but the spiritual body, it's still a limitation. The Morantia form is still limited. It has a higher sense capacity, but it's limited. And so I imagine that by being in constant action and service, it still uses up your mind and your energy body, that Morantia energy form. And so it's not that like we need to feed it food because the body's going to decay. I think of more just like there's a charge. There's always like a base level of charge that can support the consciousness. But by doing all this action and extending your energy outward, you are sort of like using that battery. And then it's sort of like the light kind of dims a little bit. And then you need to get in that divine rest in order so that you can I don't know if recharge is the way to put it, because
makes sense. I mean,
are you
I don't
collecting
know,
a charge,
recharge.
you know? This is
I
probably
get
why
what
they
you
say
mean.
it's
I
hard
get
to
what you mean.
describe. Yeah, I'm only backing off when I say that because they point out here it's crude illustrations in an attempt to enlighten us. So, yeah, but yeah, depleting energy. So, and we need that here too. Like some people, they don't know how to rest. That's why I think a lot of people get so
Can they
much out
die
of
if they don't do
meditation.
it?
If they,
Like,
can
we
they
die
die?
if we don't
That's a
eat?
question.
Can they
If
die?
they don't do that divine rest, what happens?
Jeez.
Maybe they just pass. I don't know. Do they pass
Dark.
out? How is sleep?
Oh, they fall asleep until someone else has to come and like recharge them.
Yeah, revive.
That's that alien body. That's that Mona Lisa alien body found on the moon. No, I'm just kidding.
You didn't charge up that spiritual energy. They entered a divine rest.
The permanent rest. Just saying stupid shit. If you guys saw that stupid Mona Lisa video that came out a while ago, people say it's a hoax, like a secret Apollo landing. It's fun. It's quirky. We'll talk about it later, maybe. All right.
The teachers of rest. Divine rest is associated with the technique of spiritual energy intake. Morantia and spirit energy must be replenished just as certainly as physical energy. Oh, I just read this. Sorry. You will receive your first lessons in these matters when you reach the mansion worlds after you have become Morantia beings and have begun to experience the technique of spirit affairs. You know of the innermost circle of Havona and that after the pilgrims of space have traversed the preceding circles, they must be inducted into the long and revivifying rest of paradise. This is not only a technical requirement of transit from the career of time to the service of eternity, but it is also a necessity, a form of rest required to replenish the energy losses incident to the final steps of the ascendant experience and to store reserves of spirit power for the next stage of the endless career. Crazy.
Interesting. Yeah, that is crazy. So it does seem like you're.
Yeah.
I know for a crude example, you're like gaining a static charge, and then you're like when you rub your socks on the floor. That's a terrible example,
but yeah, it does sound like you need a certain momentum, and this is related to what they call spirit power, spirit energy. And it does say there's a technical requirement, in order to go into the service of eternity to get
I just got a weird mental picture. Like, you know how you get in Seraphim, so they like kind of encapsulate you in like this little light thing. Mm-hmm. And then you have to traverse through, I'm guessing, this really deep sector of space, and then you appear on the other side as a different being. Mm-hmm. I wonder if they in Seraphim you a certain way so that just by you traversing through that sector of space, you create like a charge that charges you up, and then it aggregates it, like it gets you ready. And then once you exit that sector, you now have that charge to enter that sector of space. I'm just thinking outside the box.
Sure. Yeah.
Trippy.
Yeah, because I guess the one factor of being in Seraphim is so that the cosmic energies of space don't affect you. I feel like I thought it said that, but
yeah, maybe the Seraphim can act as like.
They're probably channeling some sort of energy
they downstep,
into you.
They downstep into you. Yeah.
Keep you in a certain spirit power reserve as they transport.
The Acacia Energata.
Acacia Obstinata Energata. These energy manipulators also function in hundreds of other ways too numerous to catalog, such as counseling with the seraphim, cherubim, and cenobim regarding the most efficient modes of energy intake, and as to the maintenance of the most helpful balances of divergent forces between active cherubim and passive cenobim. In many other ways do these experts lend assistance to Urantia and spirit creatures in their efforts to understand the divine rest, which is so essential to the effective utilization of the basic energies of space.
That
Okay.
was a good one. That was a good little section. I like that one.
Yeah.
That was cool. The energy manipulators. Shout out to the energy manipulators. Appreciate you guys. Gonna be interesting when we hit that divine rest. I wonder, you wake up just like, damn, fuck, like the best sleep you've ever gotten, but times 20. All right. Number 6, the design. Should we keep going or?
Let's see where
Okay,
we're
we
at.
still
That
at-
could be a good. We're about an hour and a half, so I mean that could be a good place to pause. But we can, if you want to read
Yeah,
this next section is kind of short,
Okay. Yeah, let's do it. Let's do it.
and then we'll play Nebby's track.
Number 6. Yeah. The designers and embellishers. How I wish I knew how to portray the exquisite work of these unique artisans. Every attempt on my part to explain the work of spirit embellishment would only recall to material minds your own pitiful but worthy efforts to do these things on your world of matter and mind.
Always taking shots.
This is
at
one of the
us.
harshest papers, dude. This paper, they take like the most shots out of all other papers. I feel like. What is this? By an Archangel of Nebadon. Okay, yeah. Stay mysterious, dog. Wait till I ascend. I'm gonna find out who wrote this. Like, what's up, fool? Why are you talking all that shit? It was to inspire you. Tough love, my child. This core, while embracing over 1,000 subdivisions of activity, is grouped under the following 7 major heads. Number 1, the craft workers of color. These are they who make the 10,000 color tones of spirit reflection peel forth their exquisite messages of harmonious beauty. Aside from color perception, there is nothing in human experience to which these activities may be compared. Aside from color perception, so when we just look at different colors. One time I was walking through the woods. I was tripping on mushrooms, but whatever. Walking through the deep woods, and we were just like hiking, and then we broke the woods line, and all of a sudden, as far as the eye could see, we found like a wildflower patch that was like as far, like in a little line. And they were all multitude of colors, all the colors of the rainbow. And I remember just being like, almost like raptured by how much I could feel the different colors. Like when I looked at yellow, it made me feel different. And then when pink made me feel different, like different wavelengths of light. And I was like, oh my gosh. And I sat there for about 20 minutes just looking at the different colors, and literally would stimulate a different feeling in my chest. Now, granted, I was tripping on mushrooms, but it's happened to me even nowadays when I see like a myriad of color. If you like look at blue, then look at orange. Do it right now. You'll feel a different vibration. So that's cool how they make an art of that. So I'm guessing so one time I went to this art exhibit in Italy. I went to the Louis Vuitton store in Venice, Italy. And at the very top, they're showcasing interactive artists. I forget his name. I need to look it up. And it's like, enter the exhibit. And we just walked in and we're like, okay, let's go see some art. Fuck it. We're in Italy. And we walk and it's like a dark hallway. And we're like, what the fuck? And I guess there's like a laser sensor. And we didn't notice that. So we're walking into like a big open room, but we didn't know it was an open room because it was dark. And I tripped the laser sensor. And right when it did that, the entire roof, it was flat. And then it shifted into panels. And it revealed that there was like a mirror panel underneath. And some chandeliers fell down that were like long, skinny mirrors. And then a bunch of laser lights turned on and started reflecting off all the mirrors. And all of a sudden you were from a dark room to like, what the fuck? Like scintillating lasers everywhere. And my heart started going, oh my God. And we're looking at my Jessica and everything. And we're like, this is crazy. We figured out where we were, kind of freaking out. We went to the next door. Same thing. You trip a laser. Then it was like multicolor, vibrant around. And it was so cool. Every room was like an interactive sensory experience. So that's the only thing that I could fucking try to correlate with what he's trying to teach us here. The craft workers of color. Have you ever been into any of those sensory art places?
Oh, I think probably no. There was one that's been touring. I think it's called like Mesmerica or something. It's more like a dome
Oh, that
experience, but
sounds dope.
you sit and
Okay.
it's like a almost, I don't know, there's a 3D projection on the ceiling. Yeah, I don't know how it actually works, but it seems like that type of thing.
Okay, kind of like the Vegas sphere too, you know? I wonder if they have one of those on the Mirage World. That's pretty tight. Okay, number 2, the sound designers.
Ooh.
This is you. It's Taychilla. This is where you're going. Spirit waves of diverse identity and Mirantia appreciation are depicted by these designers of what you would call sound. These impulses are in reality the superb reflections of the naked and glorious spirit souls of the celestial hosts. Wow. So, yeah, remember how we were talking about, I think in part 1, where they said there's actual music that can be heard when you stack different types of personalities? I think that's what it's kind of
Yeah.
doing.
They're the designers. They know how
They're the
to
designers.
pattern those personality
Damn.
reverberations.
Damn, that's sick, dude. Hell yeah. So I picture like, yeah, that Andor when they're all dancing around in like those circles and they're having fun together. Like imagine that on a celestial level and they're making noises just by moving past each other. That'd be cool. The emotion designers, number 3. These enhancers and conservators of feeling are those who preserve the sentiments of Mirantia and the emotions of divinity for the study and edification of the children of time and for the inspiration and beautification of Mirantia progressors and advancing spirits. Okay, so they want to preserve certain feelings and emotions. That's cool. They make you feel good. They are directors of the feels. Number 4, the artists of odor. Oh shit, dude. I know a lot of my guy friends consider themselves artists of odor. Taychilla over here is an artist of odor. Fucking crop dust you without you even notice. No. 4, the artists of odor. This comparison of supernal spirit activities to the physical recognition of chemical odors is indeed unfortunate. But Urantia mortals could hardly recognize this ministry by any other name. These artisans create their varied symphonies for the edification and delight of the advancing children of light. You have nothing on earth to which this type of spiritual grandeur can be even remotely compared. Okay, so I'm guessing there's some type of weird thing that's similar to smell that happens with these color tones that we're going to experience in the future. But they say smell is a crude analogy, but so like when you see like a peach yellow energetic wave coming at you, it tastes like, you know, peaches on a Sunday morning. I don't know. Or it smells like it. Sorry, something like that. The presence embellishers. These artisans are not occupied with the arts of self-adornment or the technique of creature beautification. They are devoted to the production of multitudinous and joyous reactions in individual Mirantia and spirit creatures by dramatizing the significance of relationship through the positional values assigned to different Mirantia and spirit orders in the composite ensembles of the diversified beings. These artists arrange supermaterial beings as you would living musical notes, odors, sights, and then blend them into anthems of glory. That's trippy, dude. Whoa, I've got like a tiny glimpse in there, and that gets me excited. Walking into a huge coliseum where all the beings are making noise in a perfect symphony, and you can smell, and that's insane, dude. I'm excited for that.
Right? They're like, okay, Mr. Gabriel and you, Archangel, you stand there. And I need five Legion hosts for this setup.
Yep.
And project your energy this direction at this
You guys
angle.
in the background projected over here, and now we need 5 finalitors to come in from the top angle, but do a quick swoop down to the center right on these points. If you don't land on these points, the sound's going to be off. You need to land on these points. Okay, we got it. All right, ready, go.
Dubstep ensues. That's where.
Heck yeah, dude. Oh, that'd be so sick. Like celestial dubstep. Heck yeah. Fucking people, what is it? Is that what it's called? Dubstepping, that dance move?
I don't know
Sure.
if there's
No,
a.
what's it
I
called?
never heard of a move called dubstepping.
What's that? No, no. What's that? Shuffling?
Mm.
You know what I'm talking about?
I think that's just
People
the
do that
EDM
shuffle.
dance. Yeah, shuffling. There's a bunch of moves that is.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah. The angels doing that shit.
yeah.
All right. Number 6, the taste designers. And how can you be told of these arts? It seems like this angel really wants to show us, but he just can't. He's like, you're going to reduce me to paper and writing? No, let me just shoot him with Ideographic Cybernetics. And how can you be told of these artists? Faintly, I might suggest that they are improvers of Morancha taste, and they also endeavor to increase the appreciation of beauty through the sharpening of the evolving spirit senses. Damn, dude. I like al pastor tacos. I fucking love sushi. I love me some Indian food. I can't imagine what they got up on the Star Plains. That's going to be fucking crazy. Maybe it's al pastor, but like with some beats behind it. I don't fucking know. And light codes that hit my eyes. Because when you taste good food, you almost like, you know, that feeling like puckers up in you. I don't know what it is, but that's part of the spice of life to me. I love tasting new foods, and I hope that's a little preview of what's to come. Number 7, the Morancha synthesizers. These are the master craftsmen who, when all others have made their respective contributions, then add the culminating and finishing touches to the Morancha ensemble, thus achieving an inspiring portrayal of the divinely beautiful and enduring inspiration to spirit beings and their Morancha associates. But you must await your deliverance from the animal body before you can begin to conceive of the artistic glories and aesthetic beauties of the Morancha and spirit worlds. Thanks for reminding us every other sentence, dude. That's cool. So I don't really get that, but all right. So they just come up and do final touches. That's cool. It's like last looks on a movie set right before we film. Last looks, everybody touch. All right, cool. Nice. Should we wrap it up there or try to kill the last 2 and make it a 2-parter?
Yeah, I mean, we can hit the last 2. We don't have to stop and comment as much. We could probably get through it. It's probably like
Cool.
15 minutes, maybe.
Yeah, cool. I'm not on time schedule. I'm cool.
Yeah, let's do it. Let's finish it up with a 2-parter. Harmony workers. What's up? What's up? These artists are not concerned with music, painting, or anything similar, as you might be led to surmise. They are occupied with the manipulation and organization of specialized forces and energies which are present in the spirit world, but which are not recognized by mortals. If I had the least possible basis for comparison, I would attempt to portray this unique field of spirit achievement, but I despair. There is no hope of conveying to mortal minds this sphere of celestial artistry. Nevertheless, that which cannot be described may still be implied. Well, thanks for trying, Archangel.
Yeah.
Even though you're complaining a little bit.
Yeah, he's fucking irritated. Irritated. Yeah.
Beauty, rhythm, and harmony are intellectually associated and spiritually akin. Truth, fact, and relationship are intellectually inseparable and associated with the philosophic concepts of beauty. Goodness, righteousness, and justice are philosophically interrelated and spiritually bound up together with living truth and divine beauty. Cosmic concepts of true philosophy, the portrayal of celestial artistry, or the mortal attempt to depict the human recognition of divine beauty can never be truly satisfying if such attempted creature progression is ununified. These expressions of the divine urge within the evolving creature may be intellectually true, emotionally beautiful, and spiritually good, but the real soul of expression is absent unless those realities of truth, meanings of beauty, and values of goodness are unified in the life experience of the artisan, the scientist, or the philosopher. Triosophy, baby.
Hell yeah.
The unification between ideas and expression of the ideas. These divine qualities are perfectly and absolutely unified in God, and every God-knowing man or angel possesses the potential of unlimited self-expression on ever-progressive levels of unified self-realization by the technique of the never-ending achievement of God-likeness. The experiential blending in the evolutionary experience of eternal truth, universal beauty, and divine goodness.
That's really cool. So yeah, they're just trying to make that triosophy more real in the artist, and that's what I talk about with Planetary HQ and the Legacy. Once you get the Mind Body Spirit app, I mean, I want to be like a university cranking out superhumans, but I want them themselves to be operating off those Mind Body Spirit light codes. And if they truly embrace that on their Mind Body Spirit, their ascension career here and now, I think they're going to produce better art. So you can make a better artist if you get their personality triad sturdy, and it seems like that's what they're kind of focused on here. They're focused on the life experience of the artisan, the science, or the philosopher. That's cool, because like a lot of people make great music and they're just drug addicts and they're shitty people. A lot of people make great creations and internally they're fucking a wreck. So it's important. We could learn a lot from that on Earth, because all of our artists are fucking wrecks right now.
That's part of what people think the artist's life means, is like
You're right.
the suffering soul, or the whatever they call it, the starving artist, I think is the term.
Yeah, the starving artist, the broken, emotionally broken, edgy, drug addict, misunderstood. No one will ever. Yeah, it's fucking. Come on, guys, we're better than that. All right, number 8. Mortal aspirations and Urantia achievements. Although celestial artisans do not personally work on material planets such as Urantia, they do come from time to time from the headquarters of the system to proffer help to the naturally gifted individuals of the mortal races. Hello, there we go. When thus assigned, these artisans temporarily work under the supervision of the planetary angels of progress. Amen. That's what I consider myself under, the angels of progress. The seraphic hosts cooperate with these artisans in attempting to assist these mortals who possess inherent endowments and who also possess adjusters of special and previous experience. This is getting juicy now. There are 3 possible sources of special human ability. At the bottom, always there exists the natural or inherent aptitude. Special ability is never an arbitrary gift of the gods. There is always an ancestral foundation for every outstanding talent. In addition to this natural ability, or rather supplemental thereto, there may be contributed the leadings of the thought adjuster in those individuals whose indwelling adjusters may have had an actual and bona fide experiences along such lines on other worlds or in other mortal creatures. In those cases where both the human mind and the indwelling adjuster are unusually skillful, the spirit artisans may be delegated to act as harmonizers of these talents, and otherwise to assist and inspire these mortals to seek for ever-perfecting ideals and to attempt their enhanced portrayal for the edification of the realm. I feel that shit when we're making Keys of Enoch rap, dog. And I looked at you and I said, they're here? Fuck yeah, bro. Gang, gang. Trying to bring them star hop codes into hip hop.
Edification of the realm.
That's what I'm saying, dude. Take those mud concepts and shine a little light on them and turn them into stars. Fuck yeah, bro. Star hop, gang, gang. Nebby's over here probably on the celestial artisans radar as well. So let me finish this paragraph up so we can play some of that shit. There is no caste. I feel it though. I feel that for real. We're about to change the game. Mixtape coming soon. There is no caste in the ranks of spirit artisans. No matter how lowly your origin, if you have ability or the gift of expression, you will gain adequate recognition and receive due appreciation as you ascend upward in the scale of Urantia experience and spiritual attainment. There can be no handicap of human heredity or deprivation of mortal environment which the Urantia career will not fully compensate and wholly remove. In all such satisfactions of artistic achievement and expressionful self-realization will be affected by your own personal efforts in progressive advancement. At last, the aspirations of evolutionary mediocrity may be realized. While the gods do not arbitrarily bestow talents and ability upon the children of time, they do provide for the attainment of the satisfaction of all their noble longings and for the gratification of all human hunger for supernal self-expression. But every human being should remember, many ambitions to excel which tantalize mortals in the flesh will not persist in these same mortals in the Urantia and spirit careers. The ascending Urantians learn to socialize their former purely selfish longings and egoistic ambitions. Nevertheless, those things which you so earnestly long to do on earth, and which circumstances so persistently denied you, if, after acquiring true moda insight in the Urantia career, you still desire to do, then you will most certainly be granted every opportunity to fully satisfy your long-cherished desires. It's pretty crazy, some insight right there. So if it's worth it, if there's spiritual value down here, and you bring it up there into the Urantia worlds, you'll get a chance to do it, I guess. Before ascending mortals leave the local universe to embark upon their spirit careers, they will be satiated respecting every intellectual, artistic, and social longing or true ambition which ever characterized their mortal or Urantia planes of existence. This is the achievement of equality of the satisfaction of self-expression and self-realization, but not the attainment of identical experiential status, nor the complete obliteration of characteristic individuality in skill, technique, and expression. But the new spirit differential of personal experiential attainment will not become thus leveled off and equalized until after you have finished the last circle of the Havona career. And then will the paradise residents be confronted with the necessity of adjusting to that absonite differential of personal experience, which can be leveled off only by the group attainment of the ultimate of creature status, the seventh stage spirit destiny of the mortal finaliters. And this is the story of the celestial artisans, that cosmopolitan body of exquisite workers who do so much to glorify the architectural spheres with the artistic portrayals of the divine beauty of the paradise creators. Indicted by an archangel of Nebadon. Woo, baby! Celestial artisans, we just did that. We cracked the code. We decoded the light beams. Those are some potent ideographs right there. Speaking of mental pictures and spiritual technology, this book itself is a spiritual technology. It's getting those mental pictures into your mind so you can get a glimpse of true reality. And now that will undistort the internal, I guess, distortions that exist in your mind body spirit complex. So this is like a light refinery, a refinery of light images, a potent light codes that we just read. And I loved every second of it. All of those mental pictures I just got, it was like a feast, dude. And I'm going to sprint through time and space now with all this fuel in me, bro. I feel like freaking Tom Cruise and Top Gun right now. I don't know. How about you? What, you like that paper?
Yeah, it makes me want to bring down every celestial. I've always had a concept that art was not necessarily inventing new things, but reaching into the cosmos and remixing the things that already exist, the melodies. And it's just partly because like I get like full on melodies playing in my head, and then I just have to figure out how to play it out on the keyboard. And like that's the barrier, is like playing it out on the keyboard and then harmonizing, and then I'm like building it up. And to me it's like all these melodies already exist or something, or
Yeah.
and it's just weird that that's in my head. I mean, I'm sure it's not like that for everyone. It's partly because when I was very young, I was making like beats on my little iPod Touch, and like I learned how to like build that stuff. And so now, I constantly have these melodies, in my head. And so, yeah, to think that stuff continues, that form of expression, the cosmic artist, continues into the eternal journey, it makes me want to, express that more down here. You know, because I have a lot of experience with creating the art, but getting it out to actual people and releasing it and seeing the effect it has, I think that's the part that I, you know, haven't really done. And so I'm excited, you know, for that part of, you know, what me and Deadrick are doing with creating songs together. You know, maybe I will end up releasing a lot of the stuff I've already made. But yeah, it's inspiring.
I like that. Inspire. Yeah. I think we were, I was just editing the BYP yesterday and he talked about that. Inspire. It means, actually, it's from like, it means to inhale God's spirit. Like respire is exhale, but inspire means you're breathing in God's spirit. It's really cool. And you got my mind thinking. I talk about it a lot on here. You say when you're making music, it's like the beats are the tones already exist in the cosmos. You're just pulling them from the cosmos and channeling it out into the physical reality. And we always talk about the concept of the muse. You know, we get the word music from the muse. It's a Greco-Roman concept that says, you know, when you hit that flow state, when you start making that music, or when you're playing a sport or doing anything, you can hit that flow state and it seems almost like you're in contact with something above you. That's why a lot of the artists like Beethoven and even Da Vinci, even Albert Einstein, said that these things didn't come from them. Nikola Tesla, same thing, didn't come from them. They would get dropped into them because they were showing the desire. And they all said, it's almost like if you just show the desire, like Einstein would keep thinking of a problem over and over and over and over again, week in, week out. And then finally, one day he'd wake up and boom, the answer, the concept would drop into his mind. And he's like, there's almost like a rule. If you show the universe that you have desire, you desire, it will gift you the concept in the end. And that's what learning and conceptualizing is, being at the forefront of thought for the entire planet. So now you're acting as a channel or a conduit for these higher ideographs to come down to planet Earth. And I love how you put it. That's exactly what it is. We've been talking about that for a while as a human species, and the concept of the muse. And I think we could learn a lot more if we tap into that creative aspect and understand that this is a part of my cosmic career. And my cosmic career doesn't start after I die. It starts here and now. So you can actually start doing it now. And speaking of now, well, we are creating a mixtape, but our brother Nebby actually dropped an album. We've been talking about it all day long. So I think we'll probably wrap it up. But for this, let's play the song and then I guess make a little comment on it. And then I guess we can do a little outro if you're down.
Yeah, definitely. We'll just see. I'm going to share my screen. I'm going to play this from YouTube to make sure you can hear it. So let me share my screen here and make sure I got the audio for you.
Cool.
Yay. And then
I'll
I'll
mute
do one
myself
last
so you don't hear it,
routing
'cause I'll-
here. Okay. Now we should get this in the stream audio. I'll play it and make sure.
Ain't got a choice, it's got me red. of salvation. You guarantee my own destination. I won't ever go back to stagnation. I'm the only person in this damnation. I'll never run away. I'll never run away. You're adjusting my mind, you're stuck in my head. I don't know what's right or wrong. I'll never run away. I got a voice inside my head that tells me when it's right and wrong. It shows me up the deeper lessons to be learned inside this world. I hope you deconstruct the message that I'm trying to unfold. Cause you got that fragment too, you just gotta let them know. Deep down you got the truth, but you gotta let it flow. I know this world is brutal, you don't have to be alone. If you think that God is sitting in a throne in the sky, I'm sorry, he's the master of disguise. It starts with you. He's the master of disguise. I know you feel it, he's inside. Deep in the crevice of your mind. You gotta reach out cause he's alive. I know I found the truth, I'm never gonna stumble. There'll never be a bag that I'm gonna fumble. I'll never be alone while I'm on the hustle. I'll never be afraid cause I got the muscle. I crack the code like another hidden puzzle. But every now and then you'll suffer from cowardice. But when you know this, you're never gonna let it go. It begins when you notice the self-notice. You're gonna see your life unfold. You just gotta trust me on this, cause I've seen it. I'm never gonna let it go. And no matter what, I'll never run away. I'll never run away. You're adjusting my mind, you're stuck in my head. I don't know what's right or wrong. I'll never run away.
Hey, that shit was hard. Woo! Shout out to Nebby, you got me bumping over here, dude. I was gonna unmute, but I was like, nah, it's be too loud for it. That was sick. Nebbyism, go check it out. Streaming on all platforms. It is on YouTube. The link will be in the description. That was fire, dude. And he has a lot more tracks too. We'll have him on next week and we'll play a couple more because that was sick.
Yeah, I think there's like a 16 tracks on that album that he dropped. So definitely check it out. It's on YouTube, it's on Spotify, it's on iTunes, all the places. Just search Nebbyism, you'll find it. And yeah, we're trying to prop up the celestial artisans, the star hop artisans on Earth. And you know, Nebby's also a Urantia book reader, so we know he's got the true in the back of his mind. And yeah, it's bleeding through some of these songs for show. And the production work and the musical element as well is actually really good. So yeah, shout out Nebby. We were trying to make some tracks together, that's for sure. Because we're trying to bring these light codes to the people. So yeah, thanks for tuning in, everybody. Any last words, D-Bake?
We're going to try to get Nebby at that international conference performing with us, dog.
Yeah.
You already know the deal. But Planetary HQ, D-Bake the Wise, Tate Chilla, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. Thanks for tuning in. Hope you guys got a little bit of that celestial art now vibing in your soul, because you yourself are a tone. Every time you go through an experience in life, you create a specific, unique harmony and melody that exists in your soul, and the angels can hear it. It's your cosmic tone that is unique to you that you'll carry throughout the entire universe. With all of our different tones, we can bring them together and create a beautiful panoramic, a symphony of tone and harmony on planet Earth. So just like Nebby's doing it, just like we're doing it, you can do it too. So you want to be a part of Planetary HQ, then join The Legacy today. The Legacy, the link is in the description. Love you fools. Tate Chilla, you got anything for him? No, we good?
Oh, we all good. Yeah. Welcome to my alien.